RPM, a big weekend of V8 supercar action at Phillip Island in recent days is followed by a massive international off-road event, and our next guest has won them both. He's in Perth ahead of the Australasian Safari. Come in, Craig Lowndes.
How you going, guys?
Congratulations on winning another 500. Are you running out of room for all these trophies?
Well, the trophies are not my problem. They actually go back to the Roland Day, the boss's place, so he's probably going to have to expand. But look, it was a sensational weekend for us as a team to not only win it, but to get a 1-2 after all the sort of, I suppose, the carnage that went on with the geese, the safety cars and everything else.
Hey, Craig, Stevie here, mate. Just wondering, there was a little bit of contact between Scafie and Andrew Thompson at the start of the race there, and Andrew actually had trouble opening the door. Was that part of Car 888's plan for the day?
No, I've got to pay Scafie later, but look, it was actually quite funny. The guys actually told us that we all sat down and we knew Tomo and Scafie were going to start the race. They said, for God's sake, don't have any contact. Of course, went into Honda, and what happened? There was contact, and it was perfectly in the door. Jamie walked across the garage and looked at me and says, I'm not going to be able to open the damn thing. And I said, oh, not my problem.
You have to say, Lowndesy, that the young Thompson, he drove pretty well. He was quick early in the race. How are you and Mark feeling heading into Bathurst?
Look, I think we're all confident. I think the cars are strong. I think that they're reliable. You're right, Tomo's been doing the development series in the monster car all year, and he's been progressing and developing as a driver. Jamie and I are both pumped up, so really for us as a whole team, you couldn't wish for anything more.
Now, we love a story. We love, you know, a bit of tension. Can you set the record straight? Was the morning warm-up incident with Shane van Gisbergen, was there anything in that, and has it evolved since then?
No, look, it hasn't evolved. It was one of those things that we were doing race runs. Shane come out of the pits, and there was really, if there was no time to do a time lapse, so I'm assuming that Shane would have gone out and come back into the pits. You know, I made contact with him at Siberia, and you know, we were trying to do a race run and everything else, and trying to finish off what we wanted to achieve. Of course, he must have got annoyed with that, and of course, then through the hay shed there was more contact, and we kept it off the fence, but you know, we kept it on the track. So it was one of those things that wasn't necessary, and of course the stewards looked into it and really just let it go and made it as one of those racing things. But obviously for a morning warm-up, you don't want to have any car damage.
We'll get to the Australasian Safari in a minute, but how good are you going? You go and win the Phillip Island 500 with Mark Scaife and the 888 team there on Sunday. Then you head to Broadford and go motorcycle riding on Monday with some of the Suzuki boys. Josh Waters, just tell us about that.
Well, it's something that we do after the 500 down the Phillip Island. We hire the track at Broadford, and there's about 25 of us. They're all got track bikes and everything else, and we had a great day. The boss eventually came up. He stayed at Phillip Island and had quite a celebration, a few drinks. So when he finally arrived, you know, he bought his Desmo Sedici, and you know, he's got a BMW. I had my GSX 1000, and of course it's a great day. It was one of those things. To have Josh there was really quite impressive to see what he does and how he does things. To give a bit of coaching, I actually rode his bike partway through the day, and really had a good feel. He you know, had his basically, it's a bike that they use for training, and had his race tyres on it, and you know, to hook around a circuit like that, it's quite impressive. To go up over the back straight, get the front wheel up in the air at about 140 k's, and then you get to about 253 down the end of the back straight before you hook down into Crash Corner. So a lot of fun, completely different to four wheels.
Come on, spill the beans. He told us you go pretty good on two wheels. What were your times like?
We got down to, well, unofficially, I think they were timing me about a 1:02, and Josh got on his bike and did a mid 58. So I got a little bit of work to do.
Tell us a little bit about this. About the set of wheels there beside you, because the focus now, I guess, tomorrow morning, in fact, is the Australian Safari and defending what was a very successful outing last year.
Well, this is the original car that we had from last year, so we had a very successful opening. I've never raced off bitumen, so for me to have an opportunity to not only drive the car but to go somewhere different to what I'm not used to was quite impressive, and to learn all about the Safari to begin with. And then, of course, really for us, I had Keys Wheel as the navigator. All he kept telling me was not to get off the tracks, keep it straight. And luckily we had no flats, we had no mechanicals, and we brought it home. We got to the last day, we had about an hour up on our sleeves than anyone else, and had a lot of fun in the dunes and just really brought it home. So this year we've not only got the original girl back, but obviously Keys and Paula are teaming up in a brand new Colorado. Same spec, same everything else. Got the Chev 6-litre V8 in it. So really for us it's expanded from 1 car to 2 cars. We're going from 8 personnel to 16, and really looking forward to this year again.
Hey Craig, just wondering, I mean, you've driven just about everything. You've raced Audis at Bathurst and V8 supercars. You've raced open wheelers. You know, how different is racing something like this off-road? And you know, what's it like, obviously, having a co-driver next to you telling you what to do?
Well, that was the interesting thing, Steve. It's, you know, last year I not only drove something that off bitumen, but I had actually someone physically beside me, which I've never been done in my whole career. So to have someone sit there and actually tell you where to go was quite interesting. And Keys is interesting at times, and I'm sure there's no doubt there's going to be some interesting times with Keys and Paul this year as well. So I've got Johnny in the car beside me, and they always talk about having that relationship with your navigator. I've only done it once, so I've got no relationship with him. So really I'm going to have a lot of fun. It's you know, a bit over 3,000 k's all over the Western Australia outback, and you know, tomorrow we do a prologue. Actually, have the official launch. Then we go into a prologue, and then of course get stuck into the race. So for me, it's just a lot of fun sliding a car around. I actually race with a H pattern, the old H pattern, if you remember, Steve. So I enjoy the H pattern more than sequential. So it's I can find reverse a lot quicker.
Hey, 2 quick questions. We just saw some overlay of Johnny, and the visor's down over his eyes, so we don't know if he can see out the front of the windscreen. And the other thing, I hope you don't have to share a swag with him in the bush, do you?
No, I've got my own swag, so thankfully for that. But no, probably the vision you've seen is when we're up at Mildura. Poor old Johnny, the old visor was sort of down here somewhere. So, yeah, we fixed that.
Do you find yourself having to take a different approach to an event like this to you know, ensure that you're there at the very end?
Oh, look, I just take a lot of fun out of it. I think it's, you know, for me, it's completely different to what I'm normally do. So to drive a car with obviously 4-wheel drive, and it's got less horsepower than the V8 supercar, but it's a little bit heavier. We're on dirt, we're scraping trees and everything else. So I just take a lot of fun out of it and experience and meet a lot of different people that you don't necessarily get a chance to meet over the course of your career. So for me and Johnny, hopefully I don't put it on its lid, and we have a great run.
Well, the Australasian Safari starts tomorrow in Perth. We wish you, Johnny, and all the team the very best. Craig, thanks for joining us.
No worries. Thanks, guys.